if I'm talking to somebody in Gen Pop who is substantially overweight, and they ask me what's important, more important, training or nutrition, I'll say nutrition.
Today on the Balance Talk show, I am joined by Dr. Mike Israetel. Mike has a PhD in sports physiology and is best known for his work in muscle building, strength training, and evidence-based coaching. He is also a co-founder of a Renaissance Periodization, which educates coaches and practitioners all around the globe. Through his teaching and content, Mike has quietly become a mentor to millions, guiding how people train, eat through his work, even without ever meeting them. And I'm personally a big fan of how grounded, humble, and practical his approach is. Mike, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
All right. So we start with a very basic and first question. I want to know, what does your normal real day look like outside the training, without science, and without you talking to ChatGPT?
I wake up, take supplements, put on my clothes, and I drive. But I can't say where because you said no training.
No training, exactly.
Right. And then I'm in the car again, driving back from that which will not be named. Then I get home and I'll typically shower, then I'll eat, or eat then shower. And then there is a window of time in which I do an unnamed activity that I'm not allowed to speak of.
Again, we'll talk about that activity soon.
Yeah, and then I eat, do more unnamed activity, eat again, usually do some walking cardio around my apartment building or on a treadmill, finish my daily steps, then I will shower again and watch television on my couch as I eat my last meal.
Yep.
And then I take more supplements and then I go to sleep.
Amazing. Is there any hobby do you have? Like, do you do any sports or any other hobby? Like, you want to go out with friends, social activities?
Not on the weekdays.
Or on weekend, yes.
Yeah. On the weekends, I'll go and visit my parents. I'll hang out with them.
Amazing.
I'll hang out with a few friends. I'll hang out with my sister and her brother-in-law. And I've been dieting for a long time, and so I haven't gone out to eat in some kind of fun way in a long time. So I haven't been doing a lot of that. As far as hobbies are concerned, I mean, bodybuilding is my hobby.
Yep.
In some sense.
We know that. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. I used to do jiu-jitsu, but I haven't done it in a few months because I need to let my body have enough recovery bandwidth for doing my best in bodybuilding, but I'm probably going to restart jiu-jitsu soon. And my other hobbies are just mostly reading and consuming video and podcast content for intellectual purposes.
Yep.
And so I do that when I'm driving. I do that when I'm walking. And I do that at night when I'm watching TV.
You're going to be a ChatGPT yourself one day, the way you're consuming everything.
That would be amazing.
All right, so let's start with another question. Have you ever gone through phases that training felt difficult for you? I know you love training, but like a Gen Pop, they find it very hard to put that into the routine. Have you ever felt like that?
Absolutely. Towards the end of every mesocycle, the fatigue rises substantially, and training becomes like trying to walk in quicksand. So it happens every 4 to 6 weeks reliably for about a week and a half at a time. Yeah.
So imagine yourself, think about you are a Gen Pop. You are an everyday person, a doctor or a corporate lawyer, working long hours, having a wife and kids, coming home at 4 a.m. after surgery, sleeping, not enough sleeping, still get back to work. How would you manage your training and nutrition as a Gen Pop?
I would try to get the basics correct and shoot for a very minimum effective dose of training and nutrition. So what I would do is make sure that when I ate food, it was a core of protein, and that if I had anything to add to that, it would be veggies. And if I had anything to add on top of that, it would be carbohydrates and fat sources, but a lot of times it would just be protein and veggies or protein bars or protein shakes. That means that almost anybody can get all the food that they need and have excellent nutrition. About 4 high protein meals per day, each one of them with enough protein to be about a quarter per pound of body weight. And so with those protein meals, really kind of solves much of the nutrition problem right up front. I would also take a multivitamin, make sure I was getting enough vitamins and minerals in. And then as far as workouts, what I would do is I would do full body workouts with what are called distributed compound lifts, which means things like incline close grip benches or underhand pull-ups or pull-downs, where each exercise trains multiple muscles, 2 or 3 muscles at the same time. I would pair exercises that had no overlap. So example, incline close grip barbell press paired with underhand pull down is like no real overlapping musculature. So when you're doing one exercise, the other exercise muscles are resting. And then when you do the other exercise, the muscles are resting for the other one. So that allows you to take minimal rest between sets. So do some incline close grips, literally walk over to the pull down, do the pull downs, literally walk over to the close grip incline station, do that again, multiple sets back to back to back, sets of 15 to 25 repetitions roughly. And I would do that sort of thing for the whole body. You only need like 6 exercises total. That's 3 total pairings. That's just really not much. And that whole thing can last, really about 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes of exercise. And what I would do is I would seek to have kind of 2 variations of that. One variation would be a certain grouping of exercises, and another variation would be another grouping of exercises. And what I would do is when I had time to train, I would just do the next variation in the set. And like with RP hypertrophy app, you can program this in super easily, but there's just ways to do it in your head or ways to do it on your phone app. Anything works super well. So what ends up happening is if it's a week that I'm really busy, maybe I just train once that week. If it's a week where I'm like normal busy, maybe it's 2 to 3 times. If it's a week that I'm like not busy at all, or just interestingly like have some more free time, then I might train 4 times or 5 times so that week, alternating those workouts. And so because of the fact that I'm taking very low rest and doing high reps, I'm hitting a lot of cardio. Because of the fact that I'm doing full range of motion, I'm hitting a lot of mobility, flexibility. And because I'm doing that through resistance training, I'm taking care of muscularity and bone health and all that stuff. In addition to a good diet, I kind of have everything squared away. Now, the only real question is sleep. And sleep is generally most people can get more sleep, but they just don't because they have other priorities. So for example, if you have, a wife and kids, once the kids are like older than age 12, you like functionally don't really have kids anymore because you'll never see them, right? But you might want to see them, you still don't. And that's a bad thing because you miss your kids. It's a good thing because you know what I'm saying, if you just leave them a lunch and make sure they get to school, everything's fine. And so your responsibilities after age 12 or so for most children are low. Below age 12, and especially when they're younger, your responsibilities are extensive. However, there's one thing you'll notice is kids go to sleep really early.
Yeah, they do.
Young kids go to sleep at 8 or 9 p.m. And the next question is like, why don't you go to bed at 8 or 9 p.m.? And the reality is most people want some downtime to themselves to watch some TV or scroll on the internet. And so that's important. It's super important to have downtime for yourself. But if you have 2 or 3 hours every night for downtime to yourself, maybe you condense that to 1 to 2 hours, and all of a sudden you've opened up 1 to 2 hours more sleep for yourself. And I actually just saw a little bit of research, which is very compelling. And it's something that comports with my experience as well, is that people who get like 6 hours of sleep or so, within a few days adjust psychologically to it in the sense that they don't feel super tired. And a lot of people report that. But on reaction times and other physiological metrics, they're really, really sleep deprived still. Even though they feel okay, they're not.
Yep.
And so a lot of people fall into this trap of, well, I sleep, but, and what I think it's important for me to convey is sleep is critical to health, longevity, body composition, and function. It's not a thing that's a question mark. It's a thing that is an answer. It is a period at the end of it. It's not sleep question mark, it's sleep period. And so if you put sleep central into your plan, then all of a sudden, yeah, you'll have less time for scrolling on X, but your health and wellness and everything is going to be shot through the moon, which is amazing.
So you have to rank yourself as a Gen Pop, sleep, nutrition, and a training. How do you rank? What is the priority first? Being a busy person.
Sleep's number one. That's really easy. Training and nutrition is interesting to rank because nutrition doesn't really take up any time, and they're super synergistic. I would say it's a matter of degree. If you get in and just at least do some kind of training, nutrition is more important. But if you have nutrition that is at enough protein, mostly healthy foods, and a calorie deficit or calorie maintenance, let's say if you're maintaining, then the quality of your training becomes more important. So I would rank them roughly evenly as far as results are concerned. That being the case, if you're interested in a high degree of muscularity and less body fat, training is more important than nutrition.
Yep.
If you're interested in controlling your body weight, nutrition is absolutely the most important factor. So really we can split this into two groups. If I'm talking to somebody in Gen Pop who is substantially overweight, and they ask me what's more important, training or nutrition, I'll say nutrition. If I'm talking to someone who is underweight or of normal weight, then nutrition's not as important as training, because the one thing about nutrition, which is calorie management, they seem to already be doing correctly.
This is for Gen Pop again. People say, like, obviously when they're busy, I'm not talking about corporate people now, the other side of Gen Pop, they think being healthy is expensive. Now, how would you explain them to still manage the healthy life, training, nutrition, but not as expensive? Like gym membership, hiring coach, finding good protein supplements, everything does cost money, right? How would we approach those people to be healthy still?
Yeah, being healthy is expensive is one of the great lies of our time. People's idea of what is healthy is remarkably inaccurate in many cases. A lot of times what we think is healthy is like going to very expensive health food stores, which are really just, in some sense, really nice places where people can get what they need. Gym training, supplements, and food. So gym training, you can get a gym membership for a very small amount of money at a basic gym like a Good Life or something. It's just not expensive. And you don't need to hire a coach. You can, but coaches are for people who have extra money. They're not for everyone. And you can also hire like a local coach that doesn't cost that much. You don't have to hire like the best people in the world. You can also get a ton of free training apps that will just like show you how to train. And if you have like $1 a day, you can afford the pretty high priced RP, hypertrophy app. But for $1 a day, that's just not a lot of money. And so training doesn't have to be expensive. Now, it depends on what you think. If you live in downtown Melbourne and you want to go to a super expensive gym, they will charge you $1,000 a month to go to a gym. But that's because you're under the illusion that being in a super expensive gym gets you some kind of better results, and it's just absolutely not the case. And so, okay, that's training. Training doesn't have to be expensive. It's almost like, let me give you an analogy here, Upam. It's like someone needs a car. They can get a used car that is perfectly functional, gets them to work, gets them to where they need, for 10,000 AUD, no problem. But in their head, car means new and car means nice. And they get a Tesla for 50,000. And they're like, oh, cars are so expensive. And it's like, no, dummy, you just got a really expensive car. Why did you do that? So a lot of times people do the same thing in the gym. Supplements. Two things about supplements. One is supplements are just literally unnecessary. Like they enhance your outcomes in certain situations by small fractions, but they're just not necessary at all. it's kind of like you want a laptop, and there are laptops that are literally $300
Yep.
that do everything normal computer does, and they do everything a computer did in 2020 except 5 times better and for like a third of the price. But again, it's this whole thing where you're like, well, I need a laptop, so I got a gaming computer with a crazy AI chip in it that can allow me to do like 3D renders live in games. And it's like, do you game? Like, well, no. So why the hell are you doing that? And so people say, oh, I need supplements. Like, oh, cool. When's your next bodybuilding show? They're like, oh, I'm not competing in bodybuilding. And you're like, so why are you buying all the supplements? They're like, oh, I want to have fitness. Like, okay, but you can save a lot of money and not have to spend all of it on supplements. The other thing is, typically, especially in bulk, especially on the internet, whey protein, which is the most effective supplement ever made, is less expensive per gram of protein than pretty much any protein source you can find at the store. So when people say supplements are expensive, I usually am just like, you're buying the wrong supplements.
Yeah.
Supplements are typically cheaper than actual food. Creatine is a very effective supplement. My God, you can get 6 months worth of creatine monohydrate for like $70 or something. It's crazy cheap.
It's great. It is, but I know people selling the protein in a very good packaging, specializing in something women or specializing in hair and nail, and then they are expensive, and we are trying to buy that is added collagen or added this. I'm not sure how true it is. Obviously not researched enough on it, but yeah, as you said, protein supplements are necessary, and you can buy in a places that is not expensive.
Not expensive. Lastly, healthy food. What matters in food is calorie constraint, so being not over your calories, high enough protein, and enough nutrients, mostly from veggies and fruits. If you go to a regular store, so first of all, organic is a giant scam, and it always has been. So stop buying organic, just stop buying organic right now. That's the advice I can give. It's just a fucking literal waste of money. So you buy conventional produce, and for vegetables, you can often buy them canned, which are super cheap, and they retain almost all of their nutritional value. Canned vegetables, some fresh fruits, which are not expensive. Don't buy the exotic shit, just buy like apples and oranges. And reduced price meat with higher fats, because if you have higher fats, you don't need to buy extra fats. You can buy a large container of olive oil or canola oil for like an unbelievably low amount, and that's like enough fat for a month. And if you buy something like white rice in a large bag, then you're paying like $1 for a kilogram of dry rice. It's crazy. And so you just don't go to Whole Foods is for rich people who just don't like their money anymore and they just want to give it to somebody else. I love Whole Foods. It's a vibe. Everyone's, looking great, feeling great, paying $20 for strawberries. Amazing. But if you're interested in conserving your money, I just wouldn't go there at all. And so regular grocery store, reduced higher fat meat sources, rice, canned vegetables, a couple of fresh fruits. You can buy dry powdered milk, all the nutritional qualities of milk, a fraction of the price. And once you do that, all of a sudden, food is unbelievably cheap. And it's actually way cheaper to eat like this than it is to go out, even to fast food. So this is way cheaper than fast food. And it's incredibly healthy. The problem with healthy food and the idea of it is many people think healthy food is that prepackaged, pre-prepared stuff in that other part of the grocery store. And that's the food that ends up being, organic, et cetera, locally sourced, all that nonsense. Yeah, that's going to cost you 10 times what normal food is going to cost. But if you buy normal food, you get all the nutritional benefits at a tiny fraction of the cost. Eating healthy is generally cheaper than eating not healthy.
That was very amazing answer. I really like it. It's just an excuse that people are making, rather being healthy, that expensive, or I can't afford this, or I don't have time. But that was very good answer. It makes sense. The next thing is, this is for people who get some motivation spike, like 1st January resolution, and they're amazingly doing it, and they're not lazy. It's just the life comes on the way, and the motivation drops, and their life goes on. And again, probably by March, April, they're starting again. It's like start, stop, but they end up getting nowhere. How do you tackle those people? Because they are worried, they want to be healthy. they aren't.
Yeah, they're not that worried because they don't do what they're supposed to be doing. I think my best advice to folks like that is to stop setting Napoleonic goals. Stop setting goals that are really, really exotic, that are really difficult, and set very minimal goals and set process goals versus outcome goals. So you say, I'm going to make it to the gym at least 8 times per month, and I'm going to eat 4 times every day, and it's going to be high protein and lots of veggies every single time. And if I screw up, I just get right back on and I do the thing again. I just continue on as if nothing happened. I don't get discouraged. And I continue to set myself on those standards. If those are the standards, they're easy standards, then you'll find that once you do them for a few weeks, they kind of start to become habitual. And after a few more weeks, you're really just not thinking, you're just kind of just doing it. This is how I eat, whatever, it doesn't matter. And so once you have these very low grade goals and they can filter into the background of your life, it really is just much less likely that you'll fall off the wagon, because it's not that narrow of a wagon and it doesn't go that fast. And so staying consistent is pretty easy. It's all about the goals that you set for yourself. If you're taking a flight somewhere and you set your goal as, I am going to solve an Erdos problem in math, like an as yet unsolved open math problem during the duration of this flight, you're going to have a bad time unless you're an ultra gifted mathematician. Probably then still. If you set your goal as, okay, I'm just not going to scream on this flight, no screaming, probably you'll be totally fine. And so a lot of times when people think about fitness, they think of it, oh my God, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m, I'm going to run. And that's just dumb. It's right out of the gate, stupid idea. You want to make fitness goals very easy, very minimal, and very no matter what happens, I could probably still get this done. And you get busy, life gets in the way, which it doesn't. I didn't know what people mean when they say that. Life's always in the way. Also, the holidays in early January, that's a busy time. Things don't even get busier in February and March. So people just lose steam because a lot of times they're just biting off way more than they can chew. They already had a full stack of priorities. They added fitness on top of that. The fatigue started to accumulate, overall scheduling fatigue. Yep. And then they're like, oh, I can't do this. So if you stack a very small amount of fitness and remove some stupid shit you're doing through the day, then all of a sudden not much has changed and you have plenty of time and an easy ability to execute. So don't overcommit to crazy stuff. Set the bar low, succeed. And honestly, a lot of fitness, a lot of health comes from setting the bar low, clearing the bar, doing the thing for months and months and months and months and months and months and mons. And then people are like, oh, you're in such good shape. You must do some crazy stuff. And you're like, nah, I just eat protein for most meals and I lift twice a week. And a lot of people are kind of shocked by that. They're like, what, really? I thought you had to, what supplements to take, etc. And it really is just very minimal adherence to weeks and weeks and months, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, so small things consistently for years, you can still see the result. It doesn't have to be a short-term goal. I think we're talking about the motivation. How much do you think AI, ChatGPT can help everyday people to motivate them? Because I know you love talking to ChatGPT. I have heard about, I think, that in other podcasts. And it's like an accountability partner, or calling you off on your habits without making you feel guilty, or being a friend. How do you think, and how much they can help?
Yeah. ChatGPT and related AI chatbots can help a lot, but they have limits. So they can help when you're feeling a little low. You're not feeling super inspired to go lift or to eat your next good macros meal and you want to just eat junk.
Which is every month for
you can just open up your say that again?
Which is regular for every single month, which is how Gen Pop feeling low, 100%. Not inspired. That's why I asked.
100%.
Sorry.
So if you have a thread, it helps if you have a single thread in your ChatGPT, and that's your inspiration thread. You share your goals with ChatGPT. The top of the thread, you say, hey, I'm going to eat protein, I'm going to lift weights, I'm going to be regular about it. And I want you to just know that. And I'm going to come back into this thread every now and again when I'm low on inspiration, and I want you to kind of talk me up. And he's like, yeah, okay, sounds great. And then when you're feeling a little down, when you're not feeling inspired, you just type right in and be like, hey, ChatGPT, I don't feel up to it today. Can you help talk me through this? And you have a conversation that can last as long or as little as you like, where ChatGPT will give you a little reframe. It'll tell you, hey, like, what about just doing a little bit? Here are some inspirational quotes. Tell me a little bit why you're feeling and how, and I'll tell you how to work through it. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, yeah, you know what? This feels great. That can work super, super well. The big limitation of AI, and this will continue to be a limitation of AI for some time, is that it doesn't have, to a human, the kind of moral agency and personhood that a human does. So, Alpa, if you're my coach and you DM me and say, how was your workout yesterday? And I didn't do my workout, I'm ashamed.
Yep.
And so I know that in advance I'll be ashamed. And so today, the day before tomorrow, when you're going to DM me, I like don't think I want to work out. Then I'm like, no, Alpa's going to DM me. I know she is. She always does. I'm just going to do my workout so I can say, yes, I did it, because otherwise I can't do this. I'm not. And that kind of positive peer pressure is something, for now, really only humans can pull off. Because with ChatGPT, it'll never reach out to you.
Yep.
We're getting to a point soon, probably in the next year or two, where we'll have AI agents that are kind of our personal assistants. They'll beam in through smart glasses, through the phone, through your desktop. And they'll be able to, you'll just be able to tell them, hey, I have a persistent goal of lifting, blah, blah, blah. Please keep me on track. Now they'll tell you, hey, they'll ask you, hey, what's going on? And they'll pester you a little bit. They're super nice, and they're never going to be insistent. And they're never, ever, ever going to want to seem like they're judging you. Every time I talk ChatGPT, it clarifies for me that it's not judging me. The frontier labs will not make AI that judges you. They just won't do it. There's a slippery slope to not great things. And so while you can have an AI that reaches out to you instead of reaching out to it, that'll help. It still won't solve the judgment problem. And this is something I see as a real big landscape for human coaches in the next several years, to just have an amazing time coaching, because the AI tools can help you find macros and training and all that stuff. As a coach, you don't have to do much work at it. AI is better at that stuff anyway. But as a human, it's your job to interact with clients and get in there into the head and be like, you, what are you doing? Let's go, let's train. And that's a big deal. So with AI, you can motivate and inspire yourself, but you have to take the onus to do that. You have to be the person that logs into ChatGPT and says, hey, I'm having trouble. You could just be like, and then have pizza. Ain't nothing to stop you from that, except for a human being. I think in maybe 5 years, robotics will start to really bloom. Many people will have humanoid robots at home that are assistants. And then you could, tell your robot, hey, if I'm eating something weird, just ask me about it. Just be like, hey, what you eating? And then maybe that'll help a little bit. Again, it's unlikely that robots will judge you in a moral sense. You might feel like your robot looks over and it's like, eating pizza, huh? And you're like, don't judge me. He's like, I'm not judging, but you kind of know he is. That might help. But still, I think a lot of this kind of inspiration motivation stuff is a human to human endeavor.
So if you have to hire a coach as a Gen Pop, not as a bodybuilder or not as a lifter, as a Gen Pop, what sort of quality in a coach that you look for?
One is somebody who, their transformation pictures that they post online of their clients are Gen Pop people. Maybe even they say they work with Gen Pop people, work with regular business professionals, et cetera, et cetera. Because if you get a coach that works with competitors, they're going to put you on a competition plan. Probability that you burn out of that is really high, because it's really intense for no good reason at all. If you're a competitor, very good reason. If you're not a competitor, no good reason. So number one is pick someone who has some really good baseline in working with regular folks, and pick someone who's not charging crazy rates so that they're affordable, and pick someone who gives you a lot of ability to interact with them, and daily check-ins or every other day check-ins. And after that, you just kind of see what people like, who's got good reviews, go from there. And I would say you can also bounce around and try different coaches. It's a really good idea. Hire a coach for a few months. They're pretty good. Hire another coach that has some seemingly better options for a few months. See how that works. After working with a few coaches, you're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to learn a lot about what coaches have to offer. You might come back around to an older coach. You're like, this first coach I had actually was the best of all these, and then stay with them for a long time, or continue your search for a better coach, or pick the third or fourth coach that you work with to be like, hey, I want to buy a year-long plan because honestly, you're the best of all these coaches for me, the following reasons. And one thing you're looking for in a coach, so like the evaluation process of what coach to buy next happens during the coaching with a current coach.
Yep.
And that evaluation process needs to be one in which, do you feel like the coach is available, explains things to you clearly, lays out a plan that makes sense,
Yep.
and is supporting you in a way that allows you to really try hard yourself, but get clarity on all the problems. If that's the case and you're getting good results because you're trying, if you're not doing a good job yourself, don't ever judge the coach for results because that's your problem. If you're getting good results executing their plan, hey, you got a pretty good coach. And if some of those things aren't true, it's time to experiment and try a new coach.
Thank you so much for watching part 1. There's a lot more interesting and educative stuff coming in part 2. So tune in and let's dive in 2 weeks. Till then, please subscribe.
If you don't raise your voice, nothing gets done. Indians are amazing at trying to argue in their little preferences to their coach. Please eat this meal. And you're like, no. And they're like, okay, well, I'll just work around that. Fucking work around.